Hey, thanks for checking out my all-time top Dallas Cowboys offensive and defensive players on football then and now. Now, the way I'm doing this is I'm doing an 11-man starting offensive team and an 11-man starting defensive team of the all-time great Dallas Cowboys. So there will be some great players missing. I'm laying this out like a fancy football roster or something. So there will be some excellent players not on this list, especially at wide receiver and defensive lineman. But going Tom Landry as the coach, I did a video. Actually, my first video on this channel was comparing Jimmy Johnson and Tom Landry and why I consider Landry the better coach. So feel free to watch that as well. All right, my offensive unit of the best Dallas Cowboys of all time. I'm going Roger Staubach. That's a no-brainer over Troy Aikman. I know you Cowboys fans wanted Tony Romo, but I've got to go with Roger Staubach. Well, I'm going to run a split back offense, and I went back and forth on this one because I love Robert Newhouse, the Dallas Cowboys fullback, and Darryl Johnston, the Dallas Cowboys fullback. Uh, but I'm going with Emmitt Smith and Tony Dorsett. That's a no-brainer. The best two tailbacks in Dallas Cowboys history. Although I am a big fan of Herschel Walker as well. And Don Perkins needs some love. But I'm going with Emmitt Smith. No-brainer. He is the GOAT, at least statistically. And he gets very little respect from media and fans because of the dominant Cowboys offensive line. But Emmitt Smith was a beast. He was strong. He was tough. He was faster than he looked. And willing blocker. Excellent pass blocking running back, in my opinion. And he did set a record. And that record will never be touched because of the difference in the game now and running backs being devalued a little bit. You won't see anybody play long enough at a dominant level to break that record, in my opinion. Going to Tony Dorsett as the other back. He was the GOAT of Dallas running backs of all time until Emmett came along. Very fast, pretty good receiver. Uh, Tougher than he looked. He was small, but I saw him take some vicious hits and get up and keep playing. So, wide receivers, this was tough. This was very tough. There was a Hall of Fame wide receiver I didn't include on the list, at least at receiver. I'm going to Michael Irvin and Drew Pearson, the two 88s. If Drew Pearson played in the modern NFL, he would have dominant numbers. Michael Irvin, I think, was the greatest Dallas Cowboys receiver of all time. Uh, Pearson, I think, second best. Irvin was very physical, very pass interference style wide receiver that didn't get called for a lot. Pearson was just slick. He was just able to get open and make the catches, including the Hail Mary catch that made me a Dallas Cowboys fan as a kid until Tom Landry was fired. Uh, Offensive line, wait a minute, I'm so sorry. Tight end, this was hard. I'm going with Jason Witten as the greatest Dallas Cowboys tight end of all time. This was a hard list. Jay Novacek, I just about went with Novacek. And my personal favorite Dallas Cowboys tight end of all time was Billy Joe Dupree. Heck, even Mike Ditka was a Dallas Cowboys tight end, although at the very tail end of his career. This is the fun part. The offensive line of the Dallas Cowboys. You got some of the greatest offensive linemen in history on this list. Eric Williams, starting tackle. Larry Allen, maybe the greatest Dallas Cowboy player of all time. And Larry Allen's a guard. I'm going with Travis Frederick at center. Illness cut his career short. You could throw in another name. I'll be glad to hear him in the comments, but I think Travis Frederick was the greatest center in Dallas Cowboys history. I'm going with Zach Martin at the other guard and Hall of Famer Rayfield Wright at offensive tackle. Now, Wright was very undersized compared to today's offensive lineman, but he's a Hall of Famer, and it's not like they're really going to suit up and play. Wright was an athletic offensive tackle. I believe he might have played tight end at some point as well. He was a very dominant offensive lineman for the early Dallas Cowboy teams. And that is my starting offense for the Dallas Cowboys. Is their greatest players of all time. Roger Staubach, Emmitt Smith, Tony Dorsett, Michael Irvin, Drew Pearson, Eric Williams, Larry Allen, Travis Frederick, Zach Martin, and Rayfield Wright. Now to the defense. We're going with a 4-3 defense. It's going to put some of these players at linebacker out of position from what they really played. But I'm going to this list. Be glad to hear any comments on this as well. My defensive ends are Harvey Martin and Charles Haley. Now, I know Haley was considered a linebacker, but he could put his hand in the dirt and play defensive end, and that's what he's doing on this team. Defensive tackle is a no-brainer. Randy White, my favorite player of all time from any team, and Mr. Cowboy Bob Lilly, the first dominant Dallas Cowboys defensive tackle. And my linebackers, greatest Dallas Cowboy linebackers of all time, at least in regards to this list, to make a starting defensive unit. Going to Marcus Ware at outside linebacker. He's another one like Haley that could play end or linebacker. And maybe not really a 4-3 linebacker, but for this list he is. Chuck Howley, I'm going to put it middle linebacker. Leroy Jordan, I'm going to put it outside linebacker, even though he was a middle linebacker. From my defensive backs for the Dallas Cowboys, greatest Dallas Cowboys defensive starting unit of all time, so to speak. Going with Deion Sanders and Mel Renfro, two NFL Hall of Fame cornerbacks. Renfro was similar to Deion in some respects. He was a ball hawk, a playmaker, could play offense or defense, although he played much less offense than Deion Sanders. I'm going to go with Everson Walls as my nickelback. A very good cornerback. Lots of interceptions. For my safeties, I'm going with Darren Woodson and Cliff Harris. Cliff Harris is a NFL Hall of Fame safety. And one of the key members of the Dallas Cowboys defenses in the 70s. I'm also going to throw out my specialty unit here. My Dallas Cowboys special teams players. Kick returner, Bullet Bob Hayes, NFL Hall of Fame player. First game-breaking Dallas Cowboy player. Billed as the world's fastest human. He had all the receiving records till Drew Pearson come along. But he was an excellent kick returner. He's going to be my kick returner. Best Dallas Cowboys punt returner all time was Deion Sanders. He's going to be my punt returner. Probably the most explosive playmaker the Cowboys ever had is either him or Hayes. I guess you could throw Tony Dorsett in that because of his several long runs, but Deion Sanders was a threat anytime he touched the ball in any situation. For my punter, I'm going with Danny White, just personal preference. This team wouldn't be punting a lot. Danny White was a pretty good punter and an excellent quarterback. For my gunner, special teams gunner, Bill Bates. Bill Bates was a very popular Dallas Cowboy, excellent special teams player, pretty good safety. And with the kicker, I went back and forth on this between him and Bailey, but I'm going with Brandon Aubrey. Got the longest field goal in Dallas Cowboys history, and he's accurate enough. Super leg, just a strong kicker. That's my Dallas Cowboys kicker for this list. If you like content like this channel is going to talk about older stuff from mostly NFL. I'll do some college football discussion, but also talk about current NFL things and mock drafts and uh, game predictions and stuff like that. This channel won't cover anything American football related at one point or another. If you like content like this, I would greatly appreciate you hitting the subscribe button, the notification bell, share with 1,000 of your closest friends. I know I'm not a good looking or well polished speaker, but I do have some knowledge about football and a passion for the game, and I appreciate your support. Thank you very much.